kind of a slack week on the boat. One good thing did happen to me though is my scrap metal yard finally started selling scrap to me again, and I picked up this aluminum square tubing. I think it's like 2.5 inches, but it's perfect to fit right in here for me to mount the rest of the frame. Let me show you right here. Fits right there. That way I can keep this little bumper on the side of the boat. And then I plan on welding 1.5 inch square tubing as supports, and I'm going to also butt weld these together and then mount it to the frame under here. Probably drill out these a couple of these rivets and mount it using that, and pick up enough to do the rest of the boat. Also, I got to make a measurement. According to my drawings and everything, I came up with like 16. Like the interior cockpit's going to be 16 feet, which is a lot bigger than what I have dug out right here. So I got to see what that's going to look like. Gives me, I need a, man, 1.5 inch square tubing would be perfect, but that's going to be hard to find. Had a couple of you mention also about the webbing that I cut out. What I cut out was really just to support the deck, and I left these very large girders on the side, on either side. This is just the middle piece, but you can see I've already got all this other webbing. First of all, I've got the supports to go across like that, just like a big, John boat. The John boats don't even have this extra support on the top right here, which is going to support my floor, by the way. So I think I'm more than adequate as far as support for the boat. I don't think it's going to be a lot of twisting and everything. It is 22 feet, but you've got all these cross supports down here, and I think that's more than enough to handle it. And like I said, I'm going to try to keep the weight down on this. So the complete boat should be around 3,500 pounds. That's a hopeful guess anyway. I may have to go all the way up to that bulkhead right there and take that out. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do that or not. It's according to how much deck I want, which I probably want quite a bit of deck, I'm thinking. Because really, what I need back here is enough sleeping for 3, and I need a little kitchenette, a little dinette. So I think I can make that happen. I just got to figure out what I got to work with here. I may have to go all the way to the back there. That's something I might have to go and take that back an extra step. I'm not sure yet. Man, this plywood is shot. Look at that. Just need to go ahead and tear it up on there. Oh, if you guys, I've already tried to use toilet bowl cleaner. I saw that on a YouTube video to take this this stain off right here. This is courtesy of Georgia Lakes. I think it's Georgia. Maybe it could have been from Alabama or something. But if you guys know of any way to get this stuff off easily, I'm thinking muriatic acid or something like that. And I might have to go that far with it. But one of the things I want to do is clean the hole up good. At least get it white. Not necessarily paint it yet, but get it white and get all the stickers and all the other stuff off. But yeah, that's a big job in itself, just cleaning that up. I just want to show you guys how I modeled this this project. I took 2 snapshots of the boat, one a side profile and the other a rear profile shot, and then I used SketchUp and I traced out the profile of the boat. And it wasn't too hard to do. I just kind of intersected the 2 pictures and then traced the back of the boat and then the side of the boat, and that gave me a good profile. And I've kind of built a little 3D model out of it. And this is how I started the project. And here's the latest version of the model that I created. I built a little dinette, a little kitchenette. Here's the front deck, and this is just some ideas I'm kicking around. This is not a final rendition or anything like that, but I'm trying to keep the profile pretty low, and I think sitting on the trailer is no higher than what an Airstream would be. Um, Wanted some seating up front, and my wife and my son both came up with this great idea of putting a hammock on the front. And I'm thinking about maybe some kind of bowsprit with a hammock going from one side to the other, and then maybe going on the other side the same way. So I want to keep that in mind. I think I'm going to probably slide the deck back from this version so I can put two hammocks up front. Looks like I've got a full-size bed in here, and this is definitely not the final arrangement because it's not really efficient. I'm using up too much space, and I may make it like a what do you call that? I may make it like a Murphy bed where it folds up, folds down. I'm going to have a composting toilet on one side. On the other side, I'd like to have a little shower, and I thought about buying a prefabricated fiberglass shower, but I don't think that's going to work out. It's going to be too heavy and too awkward to fit in there. I'm just going to have to, hand build one probably. And it'll probably come out a lot lighter like that also. The plan is, I talked about, making it, hybrid, partially electric, partially, maybe the 6 to 9 horsepower fuel efficient little engine on the back. I've already got a 6 horsepower. I may, put that on there and try it out. Threw a little air conditioner up here at the top. I haven't planned any, anything on the back or any place to sit back here yet, but one of my viewers told me I should build like a little deck up here so I can look over the cabin and drive the boat from the rear, but I haven't really figured out how I'm going to drive the boat. What I'd like to do is have electronic controls back here that control the steering on the engine, and then be able to control it by a joystick or electronic means. And I'm definitely going to have a lot of windows in it. I want a lot of windows around the bedroom. Of course, not in the shower or the restroom, probably nothing in there. And then, 2 windows on either side. And this is what the side profile will look like. But that's what I've got so far. And of course, these measurements are going to probably change a lot. I'm still kind of undecided whether I'm going to have the deck up front or whether I need more deck in the rear. See, it makes more sense now that I think about it. Probably put more deck in the rear because it makes it easier to, to steer the boat from the rear. Unless I use some kind of electronic means and I can sit up front or sit in the dinette and drive it from there. I don't know. I'm still throwing this stuff up in the air. One thing I wanted to show you. It's kind of a neat idea that I don't know. I was just messing around with this stuff and came up with it. This little shield. I've got it hidden right now. Let me unhide it. Anyway. I was thinking about this little cover here. I could use that and slide that up across the front when I'm transporting it, and it would make a nice streamlined front, because if I'm towing this down the road and doing 65 miles an hour, I've got this little lip right here. It's going to catch a lot of wind, and that's not going to be cool because that's got to be streamlined, and I may have to cut this back and make it more aerodynamic, because that right there is definitely going to be a problem at 65 miles an hour. It's going to rip that roof right off there probably. So just an idea, unless I had the shield to kind of block it and put it across the front, seal it up. Another problem, a major hurdle I have to figure out is getting some steps and figuring out how I can enter this boat from 4 feet off the ground, because that's about how high it is when I sit on the trailer. So got a lot of design issues I got to worry about. One major thing that has to be done is this has got to be very presentable, and it's got to be something that I could bring into an RV park and not get questioned on it. And then, yeah, it's a boat, but it also looks like an RV. That's the thing I'm going for. I want my wife to be, proud to, pull this into an RV park, and people look at it and not say, oh, what's that piece of junk? I want it to be, something that looks like it would belong there. It's different, but I want it to be presentable. And even though I'm going to build this thing mostly out of scrap parts, because I'm getting a lot of my material from the scrap yard. I mean, they throw away good material. There's no use in wasting it. And you can always paint it to look just like you want it to. But what I might do, I might throw this model out and put a link to it. And anybody who wants to mess around with it and make another, like a copy of it, and make something, and maybe send it to me, and
or present it out there, I'd like to take a look at it and see what your ideas are. Anybody wants to mess around with Sketchbook, I'll put this model out there, and you guys can mess around with it and show me your ideas with a SketchUp. It doesn't take long to learn. You just have to start with a few simple little models, and the controls are the hardest thing to figure out how to operate in SketchUp. But just start with a simple box and start moving things around, and before long you'll get the hang of it. It's a really neat tool to get used to, and very nice to have when you're mocking stuff up. You don't have to actually build it to see it.
All right, I can't work on this thing unless I get it cleaned up, because I can't stand that nasty orange stuff on the hull. And I've tried, there's a couple of YouTube videos going around that say to use toilet bowl cleaner and spray it on there and it comes right off. And I tried that and it did not work. But what I did find out is most of these boat cleaners contain oxalic acid. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that, but I think it's oxalic acid. And it just so happens Goof Off Rust remover. This is like $10 for a gallon. It actually contains that acid. Some of my design goals are to keep the boat and trailer less than 5,000 pounds, so it's easily towable, and I only need one axle and 2 sets of tires. I found out the hull weight is 1,800 pounds. The maximum load capacity is 1,730 pounds. I'm estimating the trailer weight at 1,000 pounds. I know a double axle trailer about that size is 1,200, so I figure with mine being a single axle trailer, it's around 1,000 or maybe a little less. So that keeps me at a total of 4,530 pounds. So I should be well within a limit as long as I can keep the weight of the hull and max load capacity. That'll come in right around 3,500 pounds, 3,600 pounds. So I need to go get the boat weighed and find out where I stand on that. I'm going to have a new boat by the time this stuff gets cleaned up. Man, a little research on the internet pays off. I'm telling you, I would have never figured out how to, if this stuff would have worked. But it all came down to that one certain chemical, that acid. Anyway, I'll put it in the description and a link to it below, so anybody else that ever needs a use or has a use for this will be able to do it. So saved me a lot of time. Other design goals, I want it to look presentable in an RV park, so it's not embarrassing for my wife to travel around if we use it and want to park it in an RV park or something. I want it to be easily accessible from the ground. I got to come up with an idea for the steps. It's 4 foot off the ground in the front, maybe a rear entry. I don't know which way I'm going to go with that. I'd like to be able to sleep 3 or 4 people. It's important to be self-sufficient off-grid, solar, a generator, maybe water collection or something like that. Any other kind of ideas that'll keep me from, make it boondockable, and so I don't have to go and plug in all the time. Most importantly, I want to keep this project simple. I want to use simple ideas and lightweight ideas, and not make it too complicated. I'm really happy the way it turned out. Couldn't have cleaned up any better. All the stickers came off and everything. Well, I'm going to leave you guys with a recent play my son was in, Back to the 80s. Hope you enjoy.
If we don't keep up with technology, we become simple as a humble virus. I heard you on the wireless back in 52, lying awake and tipping to beyond you. If I was young, it wouldn't stop me coming through. Oh, oh. They took your credit for your second symphony, rewritten by machine on new technology, and now I understand the problem you can see. Oh, oh, I met your children. Oh, oh, what did you tell them? Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star. In my mind and in my car. Oh. And now we meet in an abandoned studio. We hear the playback and it seems long ago. And you remember the jingles used to go. Oh, oh.
please come forward? Let me introduce your senior class vice president, Miss Tiffany Houston, and your senior class president, Mr. Michael Feller.